communities here. Bailey's Corner, just south of Bailey's Corner. This is going to be just east of Newland. And if I zoom in even closer, you can see East State Road 14. This is just north of there, north of Division Road. And as I zoom on out, you can kind of see where that border of the county is. So Jasper County, the eastern part, is where we're having this warning in effect. So this is going to be well south of Wheatfield, where we do have this tornado warning. So putting on the radar, let's check in with the other storm locations. To give you a perspective here, if I zoom it all the way out, you can see where Chicago is at the very top of your screen. So this line of storms has been moving to the northeast, as I just mentioned, 50 to 60 miles per hour, frequent lightning, heavy downpours of rain, and very strong winds. We've been watching these storms as they have moved in with damage down to power lines just to the south of us. So even if you aren't in the tornado warned area in eastern Jasper County, you are going to have the potential for damaging wind gusts and the hail potential. As mentioned before, $half-size hail possible, especially on the northern branch of this in LaPorte County. So if you are just joining us, what you see in these big orange boxes, severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for most of Newton and Jasper County, right along that Porter, Jasper County border. And this does continue also in southern LaPorte County, that severe thunderstorm warning. So again, we have this tornado warning in effect because of the rotation that is being detected on our radar. We haven't had reports of it being spotted. There's a ton of rain with this too, so it might be hard to see even if we had trained spotters out there. But a couple communities, again, now that we have the new radar loop here, Bailey's Corner, just east of you, that's where we have the strongest rotation. And I wonder if some of these smaller roads will pop up. I'm not seeing any road labels there, but you can see east of Bailey's Corner, southeast of, let's see, how do we say this, Asphaltum? And this is headed, again, to the very eastern portion of Jasper County. Emily, have you seen anything new associated with this?
So this, as you were mentioning, it's right on the border of Jasper County going into Pulaski County. For those of you that are just west and just southwest of Marysville, this is basically right overhead, and this is where it's going to continue to move. So it's moving northeasterly. If I zoom things out just a bit to give you a bigger scope of what's taking place here. So the storm motion with this, again, is moving northeast. So for those of you in Marysville, this is also going to be passing right overhead. For those of you north Judson, that is just outside of our Fox 32 viewing area, but for those of you that may be watching this right now, this is where it's headed. So specifically for us here at home, if we zoom things in, the strongest signs of rotation right now are just on the border here. So this is the line of where Jasper County becomes Pulaski County. And let's go ahead and turn on our rotation detector. So what we look for with this, typically, even if you see some brighter shades of green, that's when you have at least some weak rotation that we're seeing. But notice on the legend here that we have strong rotation. This is just east of Bailey's Corner, so that neighborhood there, north of East State Road 14, leading up to the county line. And now the latest scan just came in, so directly east of Bailey's Corner, right over the county line, that's where we're seeing the strongest signs of rotation. So for those of you in this area, again, this is a tornado warning for Jasper County that's going to remain in effect until 6:30. However, this storm itself, it really is cruising. So it's going to be off to the east over in Pulaski County shortly. Let's compare this to the radar. So what I want to show you with this is notice all of the reds, the oranges that we're seeing here, and also just west of Bailey's Corner, we have all of those pinks showing up. So we're likely going to be seeing some hail along with this. We could potentially be dealing with 60, maybe even close to 70-mile-per-hour winds at times as this storm rolls through. But currently, the biggest concern, of course, is going to be for that potential tornado that's now beginning to cross the county line and heading toward Marysville. So for those of you in Marysville, right along 421, the area of rotation at this point is just to your west. And that tornado warning for Pulaski County is going to remain in effect until 6:45. Let's get a big picture here. Of course, we're on the air with you right now because of that tornado warning, but we do have storms rolling through all portions of the area, especially south and east of 55. We have that severe thunderstorm warning for portions of Newton County, eastern Newton County until 6:30, Jasper County also until 6:30. And for those of you in southern LaPorte County, you too have that severe thunderstorm warning remaining in effect until 7 p.m. Now, the tornado warning that we are on the air for, that's moving into Pulaski County. If we zoom things in, I want to check out the velocity for you here, because this also gives us a good idea of where those winds are moving. And also, whenever you see this couplet like this, the reds, the greens coming together, that's the most concerning part, because that's likely where we're seeing that tighter couplet of rotation, and that's when you potentially could be seeing a tornado dropping from the storm. So for those of you in Medaryville, if you're hearing this, get to your safe space. The latest scan is now bringing this moving right over 421. Again, this is just east of the county line, so it is moving east of Jasper County at this point. It's still right along the county line, but the worst of it and the strongest winds, that strongest couplet of rotation there, is now over in Pulaski County. So for those of you in Pulaski County, if you're hearing this, your tornado warning, that's going to last until 6:45. Let's go ahead and compare the storm relative velocity, our storm winds, with our signs of rotation here. And as I was mentioning not too long ago, you can really tell when we're seeing signs of rotation here with this particular tool, our rotation detector. Whenever we see these reds showing up, that's when we really have to hone in on those areas. That's where we could see potential tornadoes dropping down from this particular cell. But it is going to be rain wrapped. So for those of you in this area, you're not going to be able to see that tornado. So again, even if you're just hearing this message and you're trying to look outside and see what's going on, you're not going to be able to see it. It's just going to look like a wall of rain and a lot of wind heading toward your way. For those of you in Jasper counties, the sign of rotation that we went on the air with, it's beginning to move over into Pulaski County, but it's still kind of riding right along that line. And we're going to stay with you until that tornado warning is dropped for Jasper County. Once that's dropped and it's fully over in Pulaski County, that's when we'll send you back to programming. But in the meantime, we're going to continue to track this just east of Jasper County, and it is now moving just west of 421. I've heard a couple updates coming in, Caitlin. Have you seen anything noteworthy that's coming in about this particular cell?
You know, that particular cell, right behind it, right behind that area of rotation, there is the potential for straight line winds that could also do damage. But I did want to point out, too, on my map, northern LaPorte County, so this is going to include Berrien County as well. There's a special weather statement in effect because winds could be around 30 miles per hour, but we could also see funnel clouds. So we could have the potential for funnel cloud development in northern LaPorte and also in Berrien County, which it's not out of the question that those funnel clouds can briefly touch down too. But I do think this is a good time to remind you that, again, with the damaging wind potential, even behind this tornado warning that's, as Emily has been mentioning, moving out of Jasper County, we still have the potential for the damaging winds of 70 miles per hour, also damaging hail possible. So what we want you to know is to be prepared. So I know you guys knew this was coming. You probably have your safe space. It's not a bad idea to head that direction, especially in Jasper and Newton counties right now, because as we've seen with storms even this spring, these strong winds can cause severe damage as they move on through. So again, we do have that tornado warning still in effect for eastern Jasper County, but we still have that severe thunderstorm warning in effect for most of Newton County. You can see, let me shout out a couple communities impacted by this severe thunderstorm. This is going to be east of Schneider as we follow it south, so even just east of Wheatfield, but more storms are headed your way in Wheatfield. Brooke, under the storm right now, headed towards Rensselaer. I know you just had those strong storms move through. You have more knocking on your door. And again, that was the most recent update, was just that this line of storms that's heading towards Rensselaer right now could have damaging winds associated with it. So as we continue through this evening, we're holding on to this chance for tornadoes to develop. We've been watching this warm air push into northwest Indiana, Kankakee County. So the atmosphere is ripe and ready for thunderstorms to really explode, and the potential for tornadoes is going to continue, not only when this one expires or moves off into Pulaski County as it is currently, but through the rest of the evening. We do have that tornado watch in effect until 10 p.m. for these locations. So let's take a closer look at the radar, specifically with this tornado warning. I'm seeing two areas of rotation, and one is going to be just south of North Judson, I see, and then also Medaryville, as Emily was just mentioning. And I do see that we're getting some damage photos coming in from Ford County, Illinois. So again, we have seen a history with these storms that have been moving through this afternoon into now this evening of widespread damage already. So down power lines, and this is possible through the rest of the evening. So it's also not a bad idea. I mentioned getting in your safe space in Jasper and Newton counties to charge your phone. Charge your phone and have multiple ways to receive warnings. You can sign up on our Fox 32 weather app if you do want to, if you aren't going to be able to tune in here. So if you lose power, you can at least have your phone with you. As far as reports coming in for this particular tornado warning, I haven't seen any spotters reporting it. It's just radar indicated so far still, Emily, right?
So far radar indicated, but I do really want to point out when you're looking at the storm winds associated with this particular cell, so this supercell that's working now into Starke County, it's beginning to cross the county line from Pulaski County into Starke County. They're really strong. So let's zoom in, and I want to show you what we're looking at here. So the whole reason that we came on the air is because of this tornado warned storm that now you can see those winds are wrapping around right about here. So this is now north of Madairyville, heading toward North Judson. The movement of this is northeasterly at about 55 miles per hour. So it's cruising, it's moving very quickly. In addition to the possible tornado that we're seeing here, which these returns are still very strong. We could still be seeing 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts in addition to hail being possible. But Caitlin was actually mentioning that there's a separate area of rotation too that we've kind of been watching closely. It was kind of forming in the same exact location that this particular area of rotation developed. So over here, Jasper County, for those of you in portions of eastern Jasper County, right along just east of 231, leading up toward the Madairyville area over in Pulaski County, we're still seeing at least some broad rotation with that. So it's not as tight as this one, but regardless, there's still some broad rotation, which is cause for concern, especially in this environment. So what we're dealing with today is we have warm, moist air that's been moving in because of the warm front. That's providing a lot of fuel for these storms. We have temperatures, despite the rain that's been moving through in northwest Indiana, that has been rising into the 70s. So there's a lot of energy to tap into and to work with here. If we go ahead and take a look at this rotation, this is, again, kind of running over the same exact area that this area that is now out of our viewing area moved through. So for those of you in Madairyville, just east of Jasper County, leading up to 421, we are seeing at least some broad rotation with this, and the strongest seems to be I don't know, basically right over Madairyville. I'm trying to find out if I can see what road this is right here to give you a better idea, but it doesn't seem to be popping up. So again, for those of you in Madairyville, get to your safe space if you haven't already done so. If we zoom things way out, we do have quite a bit of activity that's been moving through northwest Indiana. But for those of you in Kankakee County, you're also starting to see a couple storms kind of refiring up. Nothing severe at the moment, but a lot of lightning, and that's just east of Kankakee, so you're likely still seeing that in the sky. Let's turn the radar off, go through our warnings. In eastern Newton County, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning until 6:30 p.m. For those of you in Jasper County, the entire Jasper County, not just the small little section that we've been talking about because of that tornado warning, you do have a severe thunderstorm warning remaining in effect until 6:30 p.m. So we're coming up on that in about 7 minutes or so. And then we still have the small little sliver that is near Bailey's Corner that we still have that tornado warned area. But here's what I can say. If we look at the velocity data, it's starting to approach that county line. And here's the other area of rotation that we came on the air with. That one's heading toward North Judson. And then this one in Jasper County, we do still have that tornado warning remaining in effect because we're still seeing those rotation signs coming up here, those couplets. But notice how broad this particular one is over Madairyville compared to North Judson. I really would not be surprised, Caitlin, if we end up seeing something coming out of this one that's near North Judson, because those returns, they've been really strong all the way since this thing developed over in Jasper County. So it's potentially on the ground. We have not seen a spotter report that at this time, but something to think about too is this is a very rural area. So there's probably not a lot of eyeballs on this storm at this time.
Most of the pictures that I've seen coming in, Emily, of the damage have been in rural areas, down trees, as mentioned before, power lines, with the history of this line of thunderstorms. But what I have pulled up for you now is really going to carry us through the rest of the evening. So this is our Storm Prediction Center's outlook all the way through this evening with that potential for tornadoes, damaging wind, and hail. And you can see where the orange color is. And remember that it has been shaved back. So it was covering most of Chicago Chicagoland. And now it only includes the southern portions of Lake and Porter County, the southern half of LaPorte County, Jasper, Newton counties, southeastern Kankakee County. And that's where we really have that chance for these thunderstorms as they move on through to be severe and dropping that potential tornado. So as you take a look at these colors here, that red box is our tornado warning that is in effect still until 6:45. That's going to be for eastern Jasper County. As we take a look at the orange color, that lighter box, the bigger one, that's our severe thunderstorm warning, and that does push all the way up into southern LaPorte County. So let's take a look at the radar. If you're just turning us on because you hear thunderstorms outside your door, this is what you have going on. Frequent lightning, heavy downpours, damaging wind possible. Within these severe thunderstorm warning boxes, including Jasper County and southern LaPorte County, it looks like Newton County, the very southern portion of Newton County, included in this severe thunderstorm warning box until 6:45. This is where we could see winds around 60 to 70 miles per hour. I have seen half-dollar size hail being possible within these thunderstorms. And then as we take a peek north, this white box here, this is for the potential of funnel cloud development, and that includes Michigan City up to New Buffalo. This is north of LaPorte. So shouting out a couple communities that are being impacted by our severe thunderstorm warning. Wheatfield stretching south to Rensselaer. And then let's push this even further south. Remington and Goodland, they're in Newton County, included in this severe thunderstorm warning. So I know you might have storm anxiety. We've been talking a lot about this. Northwest Indiana right now, yes, we have these very strong, even severe thunderstorms rolling on through. As far as tornado threat goes, let's take a look at our velocity and see where we have the rotation still moving. Through North Judson right now is where we have that couplet that Emily has been tracking and where it is still very clearly rotation within this tornado warning. We still have that tornado warning in effect in eastern Jasper County. We'll see when they do lift that, but right now I do think that our best potential to have a tornado on the ground is going to be near North Judson. The rest of us, I know you hear the lightning, I know it's pouring outside, but we do just have those severe thunderstorm warnings for most of you in Jasper County, stretching up into southern LaPorte County. So if you're in your safe space, you're good to go for now. We don't have a tornado warning outside of just this one red polygon that is really pushing east of Jasper County for the most part now. But we are going to have that potential through the evening. So we're not saying if you're in Lowell or Kankakee to let your guard down, because we still have the chance as these thunderstorms continue to move north that they get into this environment where we have the potential for them to strengthen quickly and become severe. Emily, have you seen any new reports coming in?
So what we did find out from the National Weather Service, as we know, we've been talking about this for close to about 15 minutes or so, but the tornado warning in eastern Jasper County, that's going to be dropped at 6:30. So that is going to be allowed to expire. That area of rotation that we originally came on the air for, it is now east of the area. But I wanted to go ahead and turn the warnings off for just a moment and take a look. We have scattered power outages that we're dealing with because of those strong winds that we've been dealing with today. And even earlier today, we had wind gusts that were around 50 to 60 miles per hour in portions of northwest Indiana, and that was before thunderstorms were even rolling through. That was just with a line of showers moving throughout the region. So the environment that we're dealing with right now, we have very, very strong winds further aloft, and when we get some rain or storms, it's allowing those to come down to the surface. So again, very gusty out there, and a lot of the storms that we are going to be dealing with are going to have the potential of damaging wind gusts and possibly some hail. Let's turn the warnings back on. We do have that severe thunderstorm warning for Jasper County until about 6:30 p.m. I also did see there was an update coming in from the National Weather Service that looks like that this particular warning in Jasper County, that too is going to be allowed to expire at 6:30. So we're about 2 minutes away from that. For those of you in Jasper counties, even after this warning expires, it's still going to be raining very, very hard. Take a look at all of this rain, all of the reds, the oranges that you're seeing showing up here. Those are torrential downpours, so we're likely seeing a little bit of localized flooding, probably in those low-lying areas, portions of fields, ditches, things like that, but we're still going to have some pretty gusty winds too. So let's get a check of the velocity here, and we aren't seeing anything overly worrisome when it comes to a tornado signature here with this. Again, the area of rotation that we were originally concerned about with the tornado warning, that's now off to the east. But I wanted to get a sense of where the strongest winds with these storms are. And it looks like just south of Wheatfield, we could be dealing with some very, very gusty conditions. Right now, it's looking like winds are around 53 miles per hour. That's certainly enough to cause at least scattered power outages being possible. But the threat, even after this particular line rolls through, excuse me, the threat for severe storms is still going to be there. We're not in the clear once these particular warnings are expired. Again, we do have that tornado watch that's going to remain in effect for a decent portion of the area. I'm actually going to step away just so I can turn that on for you from my computer to show you where the tornado watch is at this point. So right now, it's supposed to last until about 10 p.m., but it does appear like we might be able to cancel some of those counties a little bit early. So let's go ahead and we'll turn the radar off for you. All locations that you see here highlighted in this darker shade of red, that's our tornado watch that's going to remain in effect until 10 p.m. So again, even after these warnings that we have in Jasper County, southern LaPorte County, where we are seeing potentially those really gusty winds accompanying these storms, we could still have another wave that we're dealing with. So it is 6:30. We had our tornado warning in Jasper County that has since expired. The warning, the severe thunderstorm warning that was in Jasper County, that too has been expired. So with that, we're going to send you back to programming.
No.
And
hey, Em, we
yes.
actually have it continued into southern LaPorte County now.
Oh,
that
well,
tornado
thank
warning.
goodness that you caught me. Yes.
Yeah. So we have it now, that tornado that we were watching, or that potential tornado near Knox, that warning has now been expanded northward until 7 p.m. So now we're including LaPorte County. This is the very southern portion of LaPorte County, and the area of rotation that you see there is going to be in the middle of your screen near Knox. It's moving to the northeast. So with that trajectory, as we take a look, I can zoom on out. This is that new tornado warning that was just issued. So it does push into southern portions of LaPorte County. So let's take a closer look at where this potential tornado is on the ground. So there's Knox. I do want to take these warnings off so we can kind of get a better idea of what the roads are. So there's North Judson, you can see at the bottom of your screen. La Crosse is to the northwest. So Knox being impacted here, get into your safe space. You're under that tornado warning in effect right now. Indian Hill, Brems, east of English Lake. I see a town called Toto. This is where we do have that potential tornado on the ground right now, and it is moving to the northeast. So for locations in southern LaPorte County, you are up in the path of this potential tornado. So Walkerton, Kankakee, Hamlet, get in your safe space. I'll put the radar on for you so you can see where the thunderstorm is near Knox, where we have that potential tornado, where I put on the velocity. You can see near Knox where we have that rotation. So this is where we could perhaps have a tornado on the ground. A tornado warning still in effect. I'll put those warnings back on for you to show you which counties are impacted. So again, this is going to be now pushing into southern portions of LaPorte County for the potential of this tornado to move your way. So Kankakee, Walkerton included in this tornado warning until 7 p.m. Taking a look at the radar, we still have those thunderstorms rolling through a lot of LaPorte County, frequent lightning, and really, now that we don't have that severe thunderstorm warning, I know we were talking about that earlier in Jasper County, you still have the heavy downpours of rain. Do not hit the roads right now. It's going to be difficult to see, and you can see as I put on the lightning how frequent the lightning is too. So within these thunderstorms that are still rolling through northwest Indiana, we do have the potential for damaging hail, frequent lightning, heavy downpours. We were talking about how the ground is saturated. We've been dealing with these thunderstorms since last night. So you could still see, especially if you're used to seeing flooded areas, maybe in your neighborhood or in your town, I would expect that you're going to have some standing water after these thunderstorms move on through because the ground is already saturated. So we're staying on because we have a tornado warning in effect. This goes into southern portions of LaPorte County until 7 p.m. Have you seen any new reports with this, Emily?
So I haven't seen any new reports with this, but I did go ahead and put a track on this for locations north and east of where we're seeing those pretty strong signals of rotation. And you can see that if it takes off toward the northeast, towards South Bend area, North Liberty, Walkerton, a lot of that is just outside of LaPorte County. But regardless, this warning, it does include the southern edge of LaPorte County. So for those of you in this area, even if this takes just a little bit of a jog to the north, then this is going to become a problem for LaPorte County. Again, this has been going strong since about 6 p.m. So this particular area of rotation that we're seeing here, it originally started over in Jasper County. So it was developing just west and southwest of Madairyville, which is right along the border of Jasper and Pulaski counties. And it's just been moving northeast, and this thing is cruising. This particular cell, this area of the storm, is moving northeasterly at around 70 miles per hour. So if we do track that out, there's some arrival times for you. And again, LaPorte County, you are included in this, but I do want to zoom things way in now to show those of you that are in LaPorte County, at least in the far southern tip of this. So here's the border. You see this kind of jagged black line right here? This is the border of LaPorte County. So you are included in portions of that tornado warning, but I wanted to point out here that the area of rotation, what could potentially be that tornado, which we haven't had confirmed is actually on the ground at this point, but there's definitely some strong signals for rotation that we've been seeing, and we've been seeing that for about 30 minutes. But again, for those of you in the far southern extent of LaPorte County, just east of 421 near La Crosse to the east over to the county line, the worst of this storm, it is actually east of you. So if you are in the small little sliver here of LaPorte County that's just east of La Crosse County, or La Crosse, the city actually, the sign of rotation is further off to your east. So I think I feel comfortable in saying that you are safe if you're in this sliver of the tornado warning. But now let's slide things to the north a bit, and following that county line, we could potentially be seeing this on that northeasterly track. So for those of you in Kankakee, this could be something that could potentially pose a risk for you. If you are within this area, close to the south and southeastern edge of LaPorte County, you're going to want to get to a basement. If you don't have a basement available to you, what you're going to want to do is get to an interior room of your home. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, okay, I don't have that either, you're going to want to get to a bathroom. And the reason for that is in a bathroom, you've got piping all through the walls. So if there is indeed a tornado on the ground and there's projectiles, that can hopefully provide you some additional coverage from any of those projectiles. Let's zoom out a bit. I want to show you a big picture of what's taking place. Again, we are on the air right now because of that tornado warning that is in portions of LaPorte County, right along the southern and southeastern edge. Most of the activity at this point really is throughout the south suburbs, which is just rain all the way down to Kankakee. We're not seeing any lightning strikes associated with that. But the strongest portion of the storms are moving through eastern Jasper County, which, by the way, is no longer in a severe thunderstorm warning. But there is a severe thunderstorm warning just east of there, which is calling for 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts, large hail being possible. And then for those of us that are concerned about the particular tornado warning that's impacting at least portions of the southeastern extent of LaPorte County, something else that we have to think about, in addition to the potential of a tornado being on the ground, is half-dollar sized hail being possible. So the environment that we're dealing with today, it's conducive of not only tornadoes, because we have a lot of spin in the atmosphere to work with that we're able to tap into today when we get those updrafts to those storms. But in addition to that, high winds going to be possible, 60 to 70 mile per hour winds, and large hail. And as we know, hail can do a lot of damage on its own as well. For those of you in Knox right now, that's where we're seeing the strongest signs of rotation. If we look at the rotation detector and zoom things way in near Route 35, that's where we're seeing some of the strongest return. So Route 35 south of Route 30, where you're seeing that green lighting up there. Again, that is where we're seeing the sign of rotation. We could be potentially dealing with a tornado on the ground at this point, but that has yet to be confirmed. One thing I will say, Caitlin, it does appear throughout the last couple of scans, it's still definitely prevalent near Knox, right? Like, we're definitely seeing that rotation. Mm-hmm. It doesn't seem to be quite as strong as it was 1 or 2 scans ago. Mm-hmm. So I'm not saying that the threat's over, but hopefully we're trending in the right direction. That's really going to be something to watch here in the next couple of minutes. But I hope that we're moving toward a weakening trend with this one.
I'm with you. I will say, too, if you have friends or family that live nearby, for example, in southern Indiana, central Indiana, make sure you call them and tell them that they do have that chance through this evening and into tonight. I just saw the tornado watch is going to be in effect for eastern portions of Indiana all the way through until 11 p.m. tonight. So it is something that we are going to be watching even when the sun goes down. Along this line of thunderstorms, most of the severe thunderstorm warning has expired for our northwestern Indiana counties. The very southernmost part of Jasper County still included in this. As Emily has been mentioning, it's not only that chance for a tornado to develop within any severe thunderstorm warning that you have, but we could see some damaging hail and also the strong damaging damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour possible with this line of thunderstorms, and of course that frequent lightning. So we still have this severe thunderstorm warning in the very southernmost part of Jasper County. The rest of Jasper County, most of it, especially the southeastern half, still has the heavy rain, the frequent lightning, and the strong damaging wind potential. But we are keeping a close eye still on this thunderstorm that has the chance that it could have a tornado with it. We haven't seen reports that anybody has spotted this tornado, but it is based on radar where we have this warning in effect. As Emily has been mentioning, we've been watching this red and the green coming together. This is north of Knox, headed to the northeast. Portions of southern and southeastern LaPorte County under this tornado warning in effect until 7. Because it is heading to the northeast. Kankakee and Walkerton, that's where I would definitely get in the safe space right now, because this area of rotation, if there is a tornado associated with it, I'll scoot it up so you can see in the center of your screen, it is headed your direction. So as this storm continues to move to the northeast, I will shout out North Liberty, Lakeville. Again, if you have friends or family, this isn't too far out of our Fox 32 viewing area. Give them a call and let them know that they are under this tornado warning. This stretches all the way up to South Bend, or just south of South Bend. So that is because of this area of rotation, which in the latest scan, I am seeing the brighter shades of red and green over Grovertown currently, and it is headed to the northeast. Walkerton, Kankakee, make sure you are in your safe space. As I turn on the radar, I can see that the funnel cloud statement that was issued for Michigan City has since expired too. And with the latest, we still have, again, that severe thunderstorm warning associated with this area of thunderstorms in portions of Jasper County, now pushing east as well. So we are keeping an eye on this line of thunderstorms that is still moving through out of the northeast at around 55 to 60 miles per hour, pushing towards South Bend now. We have this tornado warning in effect, but it does tag the southern and southeastern most portions of LaPorte County. You are under a tornado warning because of the potential tornado on the ground. Where we're seeing the rotation is northeast of Knox. So we are going to be watching these thunderstorms as they continue to develop throughout the evening. This line stretches pretty far south. I can put on the radar, the national radar, to show you the thunderstorm activity. If you take a look at southern Illinois getting hit hard with tornado warnings, and these purple boxes that you see well south of us, associated with the same line that's moving through Chicagoland, confirmed tornadoes. So we're not seeing that. We just have a tornado warning in effect because of the rotation detected on our radar. But this is definitely a strong system that is packing a punch for the nation as it stretches all the way through southern Illinois, bringing severe weather there too. So we will be watching as this line continues to move. You can see even near Terre Haute, where they have severe thunderstorms headed their direction. This line will continue to move to the northeast, and that's why we have the best potential for the severe weather being southeast of Chicago on through the evening. Emily, have you seen any more reports coming in?
So I haven't seen any reports about this particular cell, and the one thing that I think that we can be really happy for those of you that are in LaPorte County at this point, yes, you do still have that tornado warning for the far southeastern extent remaining in effect until 7 p.m. Let me point something out to you. So if we zoom things way in, the only little sliver, the little corner that we're going to have to worry about is in Kankakee, especially between Kankakee and Knox. So this is the little sliver, but the worst of it is likely going to be passing just barely outside of the county line. So for those of you that potentially, maybe you live in LaPorte County and you're in Kankakee, if you're on the east side of Kankakee, you potentially could be in the path of this tornado, which, by the way, it hasn't been confirmed with eyes on it. But what I can say is we've been tracking this particular area of rotation all the way since it developed in Jasper counties, and that was roughly about 45 minutes ago or so. So it's been maintaining its intensity. And as Caitlin was mentioning, if you have friends or family that live in the South Bend area or any of these towns that you see showing up here, that's the path that this storm is headed. It is a severe thunderstorm. It could potentially have a tornado along with it, in addition to very gusty winds outside of that tornadic activity, in addition to some hail. So we definitely have a very severe storm that we have to be concerned about passing just to the southeast side of Kankakee. For those of you in Kankakee, be very mindful that you're awfully close to this. So go ahead, get to your safe space. If you haven't done so already, of course, basements and interior rooms going to be your best option. I do have another note to pass along to you. It looks like the tornado watch, which previously was for Grundy County, Will County, Kankakee, all of northwest Indiana. That's been canceled with the exception of Jasper County and LaPorte County. That tornado watch is going to remain in effect until 10 p.m. Hopefully, once these storms breeze past, then we're going to be able to cancel that. But for right now, that tornado watch for Jasper County and LaPorte County, that's going to remain in effect until about 10 p.m. So once again, the reason that we're on the air with you today is because we have a tornado warning for portions of LaPorte County. Zooming things way in, this is mainly in Kankakee, in the southeastern section of Kankakee, toward Walkerton, just south of Walkerton, down to Route 30. That's where we're seeing this nice little couplet here. And whenever we see this showing up on the radar, we have our inbound, the outbound winds. And when we see that coming together, that gives us an idea that we could potentially be dropping a tornado from that particular part of the storm. So comparing this with the radar, take a look at all of this red showing up, even the pinks showing up. That's giving us an idea that there's likely going to be some hail along with this, in addition to extremely heavy rain. So for those of you in Walkerton, if you're near or just north of Route 30, this potentially could be a rain-wrapped tornado. So you're going to want to stay indoors, of course. Don't go outside trying to see it. You're not going to be able to see it when we're dealing with rain like this. That tornado warning for LaPorte County is going to remain in effect until 7. If we go just east of there for St. Joseph County, of course, this is in Indiana, that too is going to remain in effect until 7 p.m. Now let's talk about the wind. So in addition to that rotation that we've been telling you about, I also want to touch on just the wind potential that we could be dealing with here. So close to 70-mile-per-hour winds being seen from the radar just north of Route 30. So for those of you in this area, to give you perspective of what a 70-mile-per-hour wind gust can do, an EF0 tornado has winds from 65 miles per hour to about 85 miles per hour. This, around 70 miles per hour, can certainly be doing damage, likely causing snapped power lines, possibly some downed trees. So for those of you in this area, again, even outside of the potential of seeing a tornado, we have those really, really strong winds. Let's get you back to the radar here, and I'm going to zoom out so you can get the big picture of what's taking place. We, of course, are on the air because of that tornado warning. For those of you in northeastern Illinois, things are fairly quiet for us right now. And then going over toward Kankakee County, eastern Will County, it's just rain at this point. If we turn on the lightning tracker, we're not seeing any lightning across Kankakee or in Will County. Even for those of you in Lake and Porter County, there's not a ton of lightning showing up. So all of the action at this point really looks to be just east of Jasper County now. So the worst of that storm is taking off toward the east. We still have that severe thunderstorm warning for Pulaski County and up in Starke County. But in LaPorte County here, we still have that tornado warning remaining in effect until 7 p.m. And your time right now is 6:46. So let's kind of start the process all over here and look at the storm relative velocity. So this is what we're always checking whenever it comes to a tornado warning, because it gives us an idea and we can compare this to our rotation detector and seeing what we're seeing here. The one thing I will say is this particular cell, it's kind of ebbed and flowed for the last 45 minutes or so. So it strengthens and then it loses that tight rotation, possibly meaning that if there was a tornado on the ground, maybe it's lifted or that rotation's become a little bit less. But we've been seeing it re-intensifying over and over again. So we still, even with seeing the signs of potentially weakening rotation, it still is alarming to see those inbound, outbound winds coming together. So for those of you southeast of Kankakee in Walkerton, this is the area that we're most concerned about. I'm going to send it on over to Caitlin Cody. Have you seen any updates coming in from this near LaPorte County?
You know, I just pulled up the latest tornado watch map. So I know Emily has been mentioning how we're trimming this back as these thunderstorms continue to move through. And really the area of concern over the next hour or so is going to be Jasper, Newton counties, also LaPorte County. So until about 7:30, it looks like we still have that potential for thunderstorms in Jasper and Newton counties, also especially the southernmost part of LaPorte County, as we have that tornado warning in effect there. But just so you can see here, Jasper County has been dropped from the tornado watch, as well as Lake and Porter County in northwest Indiana, and Kankakee and Will. You are no longer in the tornado watch area. But it has been an interesting day, hasn't it? This warm front, as it moved north, the temperatures climbed big time. Around noon, we were all in the 40s, which you can see Waukegan still is at 49 degrees, but the rest of us are getting in on this warm air. I'm not going to say nice warm air because we definitely still have the clouds and the rain and the thunderstorms out there, but this is what is assisting in the development of these strong thunderstorms that have been moving through. So if we take a look at the current radar, most of the heavy stuff is starting to shift east. This is what we want to see. Again, over the next, I would say 30 minutes or so, we are going to be having that potential for those thunderstorms still in the Chicagoland area. But then as we head towards late evening, we're going to have a drying and clearing trend as those thunderstorms continue to race off to the east. That tornado watch is in effect from South Bend points east until about 11 p.m. So if we take a closer look at where the heavy stuff is coming down, let's shout out a couple communities. LaPorte County, you still have some heavy rain just east of Westville with that lightning. Kankakee, you still have the heavy rain. It looks like this radar just updated that loop and keeping the heavy stuff just east of you, which is where we still have this tornado warning in effect. So actually, let's check in and see what that rotation is looking like. So it is looking to be just southeast of Kankakee now. So this warning is still in effect for southern portions of LaPorte County, but I do think that soon it is going to be expired because of that potential rotation really being mostly east of there, but still southern LaPorte County, you are in that tornado warning until 7 as of now. We still have that severe thunderstorm warning in effect for the southernmost part of LaPorte County too, which if I turn on the radar, you can see most of the heavy stuff over North Judson, stretching south. This is where you still could have those damaging winds along this whole line. We've seen 60 to 70 mile per hour winds and large hail associated with those thunderstorms. Those will continue to track to the east as well, but we still have some lingering rain, which let me turn on our lightning tracker to see if it is just rain. Looks like Porter County from Valpo stretching north into Portage, you just have some heavy rainfall, but no lightning associated with it. This goes all the way to Michigan City, too. But as we head a little further south, still some lingering lightning associated with those stronger storms that is currently pushing just to the eastern portion of Jasper County. Still some heavy downpours in southern Newton County. Also in Kankakee County, some heavy rain still, but I'm not seeing any lightning associated with these rain showers that push into eastern Will County. Chicago, just some light rain for us in the city, but we still have that chance for some damaging thunderstorms moving in northwest Indiana and slowly pushing east. So I'll turn off the lightning tracker and we'll take a look at these severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings. So it looks like that severe thunderstorm warning is now expired for Jasper County all the way up into LaPorte County. It looks like we still have some strong thunderstorm potential there with the severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 8 p.m. And then, of course, we have this tornado warning still in effect for southeastern portions of LaPorte County. Putting on the let's see, the rotation here. Looks like Walkerton still, maybe just east of Walkerton where we have the best chance. This is going to be southeast of Kankakee in LaPorte County where we could perhaps have that tornado still on the ground. This storm is moving to the northeast, so I'm not surprised to see that this continues all the way up to South Bend. It's moving northeast at 55 to 60 miles per hour, so it will continue to track just to the southeast of LaPorte County. But if you have friends or family in South Bend, make sure they are in their safe place because that is the direction of where this rotation is headed. Emily, it looks like we're seeing things clear up a little bit in northwest Indiana, thankfully.
Yes, I think the worst of it is finally moving off toward the east. We do have some localized power outages because of this, but for the most part, the worst is now passing to our east. Of course, we do still have that severe thunderstorm warning that's remaining in effect for portions of LaPorte County, but I do feel confident in saying that the area of rotation, Caitlin, it's now east of the portion of LaPorte County that we were a little more concerned about. So with that, we are going to send you back to programming. If anything becomes breaking within the Fox 32 viewing area, we will, of course, let you know.